When you press play on this video, I want you to feel like you're stepping into a quiet, misty field with me. A place where time slows down, where the air is cool and soft, and where there's nothing to do except watch an image slowly appear on paper. In this painting, you'll see a solitary deer standing in a field covered in tiny flowers, with fir trees in the distance, and a cloudy, slightly foggy sky above. And as you watch, I'm going to talk you through not just the technical steps of how I created it, but also what I felt, what I was thinking, and why painting scenes like this feels like coming home to myself. Before this painting existed, I was just sitting with a small, completely blank sheet of paper in front of me. I chose a small format on purpose. I love working on a smaller surface when I want to focus on details and finish a painting over just a couple of evenings. There's something very comforting about knowing that I don't need days and days or a huge canvas to create a world. A small page is enough. It feels intimate, almost like writing a page from a visual diary. It's just me, the paper, my pencils, my gouache, and this quiet idea of a peaceful deer in a misty field. I started with 2 colored pencils. Nothing fancy, nothing dramatic, just 2 simple colored pencils that I used first for the initial sketch, and then to refine and adjust it before touching any paint. With those pencils, I slowly drew the silhouette of the deer. I didn't rush. I wanted the shape to feel calm, balanced, and grounded. The antlers were especially important to me. There's something so graceful and powerful about antlers. The way they branch out like the limbs of a tree, almost like they're connecting the animal with the sky. As I traced the gentle curve of the neck and the shape of the head, I was already imagining the softness of the fur I would paint later, even though at this stage, it was just a simple outline. After laying down the deer's silhouette, I moved to the background and sketched in the silhouettes of the fir trees behind it. They are distant, slightly softened by the imaginary fog in the scene. I didn't want them to be too sharp or too detailed at this stage, just enough to suggest depth and a quiet forest standing behind the deer, like a protective wall of nature. The trees create a sense of place, a sense that this isn't just a blank field, but a living landscape, a small fragment of a much larger, peaceful world. Once I was happy with the sketch, the deer, the trees, the position of the horizon, I put the pencils aside and reached for my gouache and my brushes. This is always one of my favorite transitions. going from the delicate, scratchy sound of pencil on paper to the smooth, almost silent glide of a brush loaded with paint. I used brushes of different sizes, larger ones for big areas of color, medium ones for shapes and transitions, and tiny ones that I would save for the details later on. There's something very soothing about choosing the right brush for each moment, like choosing the right words in a conversation. I began by covering the entire sheet with the first layers of color. I didn't want to leave any part of the paper untouched. I laid in the sky, the distant background, the field, and the basic shapes of the deer in broad areas of paint. For the sky, I mixed soft, muted tones, nothing too bright or dramatic. The weather in this painting is calm, cloudy, and a little bit foggy, with that gentle feeling you get on days when the world feels quiet and the light is diffused. You know those days when sound is softer, when you can almost hear your own breathing more clearly? That's the mood I wanted in the sky. For the field, I started with simple, blended tones, thinking more about the overall atmosphere than about individual blades of grass or flowers at first. I was building a base, a foundation for all the details that would come later. The first layers of gouache are always about large decisions: where the light will be, where the shadow will rest, how warm or cool the painting will feel overall. These early decisions quietly shape everything that follows, even if you don't always see them in the final piece. As I covered the page with paint, I felt myself entering that familiar, meditative state I love so much. My breathing slowed down. My thoughts stopped jumping from one thing to another and started moving more gently, in rhythm with the brush strokes. Each stroke became its own little moment. I wasn't thinking about my to-do list, or my phone, or anything outside of this piece. It was just the painting and the feeling of peace it was giving me. I love how painting can turn my mind into a quiet room, even if the world around me is noisy or busy. Once the background and general tones were in place, I returned to the deer and began to work on it more carefully. At this stage, the deer was still fairly simple in terms of shape and color, but I started refining the form, adjusting the proportions, and hinting at the structure beneath the fur. I thought about the gentle weight of the body, the softness of the chest, the proud but calm position of the head. I wanted this deer to feel still, peaceful, and present, like it has paused in the middle of the field, listening to the distant silence. I layered colors on the deer, thinking about warm and cool tones, about where the light might be touching its side and where shadows would naturally fall. Even though the scene is misty and not strongly lit, there is still a sense of subtle light. I didn't want dramatic contrast. I wanted softness. With gouache, I can adjust and correct as I go, layering new colors over old ones, softening edges, and gently shifting the mood. That flexibility makes it a perfect medium for paintings like this. If you're watching this, and you've ever felt that pull towards creativity, whether it's painting, drawing, writing, music, anything, I want to gently encourage you to follow it. You don't need the perfect supplies, the perfect space, or the perfect plan. You don't need to be good enough. You just need a small piece of paper, a pencil, some paints, and the courage to start. You can begin with something simple, like a small format painting, just like I did with this one. A tiny field, a single deer, a few trees in the background. It's okay if it's not perfect. It's okay if you're still learning. We're all still learning. After spending some time with the deer, I moved my attention back down to the field. Up to this point, the field was just a softly painted area of color, but now it was time to give it life. I began to work on the ground, first with broader strokes to suggest the direction of the grass and the unevenness of the field. Then, little by little, I started adding more structure, subtle variations in tone, slightly different shades to hint at depth, and the first signs of the tiny flowers scattered throughout. This part of the process is very meditative, adding small details, flowers, little strokes of grass. Takes time and patience, but it's also incredibly calming. With each tiny mark, the field becomes more real, more alive. I wasn't trying to paint each flower perfectly or realistically. Instead, I focused on capturing the feeling of a field filled with countless small blossoms. From a distance, they merge into a gentle mist of color. Up close, you can see the individual strokes and little moments of attention that went into them. As I worked on the flowers and grasses, I felt a kind of quiet joy. There's something almost childlike about decorating a field with tiny dots and strokes of color. It reminded me of being younger and drawing endlessly, filling notebooks with landscapes, animals, and imaginary scenes. I've always been doing something creative for as long as I can remember. I finished art school, and even before and after that, creativity was never just a hobby. It was always the way I expressed myself, processed my feelings, and made sense of the world. painting this field, I could feel that childhood version of me sitting beside me, completely absorbed in the simple pleasure of making something beautiful. The fir trees in the background were the next area that needed more attention. I went back to them and began to define their shapes more clearly, but I still wanted them to remain somewhat soft and distant. I used slightly darker tones for the trees, carefully shaping the edges to suggest needles and branches without overworking them. Because the atmosphere in the painting is foggy and muted, the trees couldn't be too sharp or too crisp. If I made them too detailed, they would come forward too much and break the depth of the scene. So I kept them a little blurred, softened by distance, like silhouettes fading slightly into the mist as I refined the trees. I was also thinking about balance. The deer is the main character in this small story, but the trees, the field, and the sky all support that character. They create a stage, a mood. Every stroke I added in the background was meant to help the viewer's eye gently return to the deer in the center, standing calmly among the flowers. I wanted you, as you watch this painting come to life, to feel like you could step into the scene, walk through the field, and stand quietly next to this animal, listening to nothing but the soft sounds of nature. Then came one of my favorite parts of the whole process, working on the smallest details. This is where my tiniest brushes come in. I leaned in close to the paper and started refining the flowers and grass, adding subtle highlights and shadows, and making sure the field felt rich and filled with little moments of color. These details might not be obvious at first glance when you see the whole painting, but they add depth and richness. They're like whispered secrets inside the artwork, only visible to those who take the time to look closely. And finally, at the very end, I returned to the deer once more and focused on the fur. This is where patience becomes everything. Stroke by stroke, using a fine brush and carefully chosen colors, I suggested the texture of the fur, the direction of the hair, and the softness of the animal's body. I didn't want to overdo it and turn it into something too stiff or too photographic. Instead, I aimed for a balance, enough detail to feel tactile and alive, but still painterly, still soft. Working this way is incredibly calming for me. I can lose track of time, just adding tiny lines and textures, watching the flat shape turn into something that feels three-dimensional and alive. Throughout this whole process, I used just those 2 colored pencils at the beginning for my sketch and refinement, and then my gouache with brushes of different sizes for everything else. I love this combination, the clarity of a pencil sketch to set the structure and the richness of gouache to bring it all to life. Gouache gives me the ability to layer, to correct, to adjust the mood, and to create both soft blends and sharp details whenever I need them. The small sheet of paper allowed me to stay close to my work, to really control the details, and to actually finish the piece over just a couple of evenings. There's something deeply satisfying about starting a painting one day, and a night or two later, stepping back and seeing a complete, detailed little world in front of you. What you're watching now is not just the painting process, though. It's also a recording of my time with this piece. And I truly love working on the editing of videos like this. When I sit down to edit, it feels like I get to live the whole creation process a second time. I see my own hands moving across the paper, mixing colors, making decisions, correcting mistakes, adding small details. I get to observe myself from the outside, almost like I'm watching another artist work. It's a strange and beautiful feeling. Editing lets me notice things that I don't always see while I'm painting. I can see which parts I slowed down on, where I was very careful, and which areas I painted more freely and quickly. I can see what I tend to focus on the most. Maybe the way I obsess over edges, or how long I spend on tiny details compared to big shapes. It's like a kind of gentle self-analysis. And it also allows me to shape the experience for you, to decide what to show, what to speed up, what to linger on, and how to build the rhythm of the video so that it feels calm and pleasant to watch. There is a lot of joy for me in this editing process. I add the music, adjust the timing, and think about how everything will feel to someone who is maybe watching this late at night, after a long day, or early in the morning with a cup of coffee, looking for something quiet to accompany their thoughts. I imagine you sitting there, maybe drawing or painting along, or just relaxing. And I want this video to give you a little escape, a soft space to breathe. I also want this channel to be a conversation, not just me painting alone on the screen. So if you're watching this, I would really love to hear from you. Let me know in the comments, what would you like to see more of in my videos? Do you want slower, real-time sections so you can follow the brushstrokes more closely? Do you prefer faster, more time-lapsed videos where you can see the whole process in a shorter amount of time? Would you like more talking about techniques, brushes, and colors? Or do you enjoy videos like this, where I share more of my feelings, thoughts, and stories while you watch the painting unfold? Maybe you want close-ups of certain parts of the process, like how I paint fur, how I layer gouache for backgrounds, or how I sketch out compositions with pencil. Maybe you'd be interested in specific tutorials, like how to paint animals in misty environments, or how to create depth using soft edges and atmospheric perspective. Or maybe you just like more peaceful, story-like videos, where I talk about art and life while I paint scenes like this. Your feedback means a lot to me, because it helps me grow and shape this channel into something that's not just for me, but for you as well. I also want to share a little bit about myself, so you know who's behind the brush. I finished art school, and honestly, I can't remember a time when I wasn't doing something creative. Even as a child, I was always drawing, painting, cutting, gluing, building little worlds on paper and in my imagination. Creativity has always been my way of existing in the world. It's not just an activity I sometimes do. It's how I breathe, how I process what I feel, and how I connect with others. Over the years, I've realized that this is more than just a passion for me. This is my purpose: to create, to share, to inspire. I deeply believe that art can make people a little happier, a little calmer, and a little more connected to themselves. Sometimes, all a person needs is a quiet video of someone painting a peaceful scene to feel a bit lighter. Maybe they decide to pick up a brush again after years of not drawing. maybe they just take a deep breath and feel a little less tension in their shoulders. If my work can do that for someone, even for a few minutes, then it's worth everything. I live for these moments of connection, when someone writes to me that my video helped them relax, or inspired them to create something of their own, or reminded them of their childhood love for drawing. Those messages mean more to me than I can express. That's why I say that this is my purpose in life, to create and to inspire, to bring a little more beauty and peace into people's days. While you watch this video, maybe let it be your reminder that you're allowed to slow down. You're allowed to create just for the sake of creating, without pressure, without expectations. Let the quiet atmosphere of this scene, the mist, the flowers, the calm deer, be a background to your own thoughts. Breathe a little deeper. Let your shoulders relax. Maybe you're painting along. Maybe you're just resting. Both are perfectly fine. If you enjoy this kind of content, I'd be really grateful if you'd support my work by liking this video, subscribing to the channel, and leaving a comment. It helps so much more than you might think, especially on platforms like YouTube, where the algorithm needs those signals to show the video to more people. But beyond the algorithm, your support tells me that there are people out there who want and need this kind of calm, creative space, and that means the world to me. Tell me what you felt while watching this painting come to life. Did a particular part of the process stand out to you? Was it the first sketch with the pencils, the moment the background appeared, the small flowers in the field, or the final touches on the fur? Did this scene remind you of any memory, a place you've been to, a walk you've taken, an animal you've seen? I'd love to know. And if there's anything you think I could improve, maybe the camera angle, the lighting, the pacing of the edit, or the way I talk about the process, please feel free to share that too. I really value honest, kind feedback. It helps me grow not only as an artist, but also as a creator and storyteller. Together, we can shape this channel into something even more beautiful, useful, and soothing. As this video slowly approaches the end and the final details of the painting settle into place, I hope you can feel the same sense of calm that I felt while creating it. For me, this piece is more than just a deer in a field. It's a small pause in time, a reminder that even in a busy life, there is space for quiet moments of creation. It's a reminder that we can still find silence, softness, and peace inside ourselves, no matter what's happening outside. Thank you for spending this time with me, for watching me paint, and for sharing this peaceful moment. If you'd like to stay with me on this creative journey, through more paintings, more stories, and more quiet evenings with brushes and paper, make sure you subscribe, turn on notifications, and come say hello in the comments. I'm really happy you're here. For now, just keep watching the last gentle strokes, the final touches of fur and tiny flowers. Let the scene settle in your mind like a soft, misty memory. And remember, you are always welcome here, in this little corner of the internet where we slow down, breathe, and create together.